righty. Good morning, everybody. I see that we have the entire complement of City Council here this morning, so I find that we do have more than a quorum. We will begin with a invocation led by Councilor Bolt, and I'll lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, and we'll go from there. Please stand.
Going on with our country. We just ask that you be with our servicemen that are not home and protecting us today as we have this freedom. Now as we go into our business session, just guide us through it, watch over it, keep us and bless us. For us in Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please be seated. Our December meeting is, by tradition, held a little bit earlier because we had the opportunity to dine together, and this morning was no different. We got together not just as a city council, but with members of the entire City of Lawrence team. And so for everybody that was able to be there, appreciate you being there and showing support for the people that do the hard work every day on behalf of the citizens of Lawrence to make this city better. And I tried to convey to them just how grateful we all are. But I want to say publicly for everybody that's here and everybody that's watching remotely that the City of Lawrence just has the best team working for it, I'd say, in the state of South Carolina. And we're very, very blessed to have the people working for the City of Lawrence that we do. I want to begin by just calling your attention to a few brief points about what's happened since we last met. We worked really, really hard on taking our Christmas celebrations, our holiday celebrations, to a new level and really capitalizing on the special things that Lawrence has to offer. We're very fortunate to have inherited some amazing architecture and a look and a feel about this town that looks like it just came right out of a Norman Rockwell painting on the cover of a Saturday Evening Post. And what better way to show off our town to the world than through a time of year where everybody's primed to celebrate already. And so it was a real pleasure to get together for our tree lighting on the 6th and the market that continued on to the morning of the 7th and the parade that happened later that afternoon. Our attendance is estimated around 1,500 people at that tree lighting event. That's about 3 times what we would normally have. And the feedback that we got from that event was just incredible. I'll share a few of those with you if you don't mind. some of the comments that we saw looks like something out of a Hallmark card. We love our little town. Whoever put all this together did a wonderful job, really puts you in the Christmas spirit. Our historic square was a magical place last night. Last night was magical. Everything was amazing. The spirit of Christmas was definitely in the atmosphere. Love singing carols with everyone. Americana at its finest. Love small towns. It wasn't just citizens that praised the event, but there were local businesses. Folks said it looked like something straight out of a Hallmark movie. And a New Beginning Farm, which was actually a vendor in the Christmas market, said it was an absolutely magical evening. It was their very first City of Lawrence event, and it did not disappoint. Carriage rides, streets filled with music, caroling, countdown to the tree lighting, and community support and fellowship. I think these comments they're just a few, but it really sort of captures what we're trying to do, and I just have to give again our staff credit for pulling it off. We don't just do this as a marketing exercise for the City of Lawrence. It certainly helps show off the city to the world, but it is who we are, and it helps build community. And I firmly believe that when we have a stronger, more tight-knit community, it makes our neighborhood streets safer, makes people take pride in their town, makes them less likely to litter. All those things add up. There's not one silver bullet thing that we do that fixes all the problems, but the more things like this that we do to come together as a community, it builds a culture around here. And I think Lawrence is a step ahead when it comes to that kind of thing. And I appreciate the support of City Council in helping make that happen. In addition to those events, Main Street has been holding events this past weekend. We'll have another one this weekend with a caroling and cookies event. And we're working to see whether we can cooperate with them to open up Santa's Village. So TBD on that. We've had an announcement of some new businesses coming to Lawrence. The Moultrie and the Foxhole, a restaurant and beverage establishment. Well, I only have some vague idea, but I think they may serve some beverages down there. But they'll be opening up in the rudimentary space. Waffle House is now officially open. I'm more excited about that than I should be. Shout out to the Philly cheesesteak omelet. It's not an official endorsement from the City of Lawrence. I literally just came here by way of the Capitol Theater. The renovations are nearly complete there. One of the things that has taken a bit longer than we had liked, but I think will be worth the wait, is new seating. If you will recall, the seats that were in there, some of them had sort of homemade wooden armrests that if you didn't sit on them just quite the right way would slip off, and it was time for an upgrade. And thankfully, because we had a grant through the Department of Commerce, there's funding available to do it. So that seating upgrade will take place, but I believe delivery is scheduled for January 13th, if I'm not mistaken. So we look forward to both Arnold's and the Capitol being up and running in January. Of course, there's already planning to schedule events to take place in the new year in that space as well. This past weekend, I took part in Wreaths Across America. We laid wreaths at the city cemetery. There are other Wreaths Across America events held throughout the city, including one held by the American Legion at Northside Cemetery, but we appreciate all those folks who turned out to pay tribute to those who have served our nation in the armed forces. And then finally, I just want to share with you, if you aren't aware, we had an interview with the Post and Courier. There's a reporter that came who's doing a story on circle towns. And it's sort of a phenomenon that is was very common in the early part of the 19th century and more prevalent in South Carolina and Georgia than anywhere else in the world. But basically, the original town limits were defined by the courthouse and a mile radius in all directions sprouting out from the courthouse. And so the original city limits were a circle. And the reporter's essentially doing a story to see if there's anything that was sort of unique and special about the way Circles towns developed and whether that had an impact on the way we've grown over the past 200 or so years. So it was really nice to be able to share with them a little bit about the history of our town and walk around. And I felt like I got to give the reporter an early Christmas present when I showed him the mile marker that he wasn't aware still existed. And so it features in this Post and Courier article. But for those of you that don't know, on West Main, sort of around Chris Callahan's insurance agency, right across from the Lawrence Drug area, there's the original mile marker that marks the city limits from 1845. So,
Is that the only one there is?
to my knowledge, that's the only existing one. As we look forward to budget season, and I apologize, I hadn't talked to Eric about this. I'm trying to make not a habit of not springing things on him at public meetings. But somebody was sort of mentioning that because that is so unique and dates to the founding of our town's history, and it is not just unique in our town, but may be one of the only ones in the state of South Carolina. Maybe that marker deserves a little attention. Don't know exactly what that looks like, but I suggest maybe we could carve out a little in the budget for this coming year to make sure that that is a marker that is protected and remains part of our city's history for the next 180 years. That's all the updates I have for you. We've been busy on all sorts of other stuff like code enforcement and building projects and preparation of new ordinances and all that. But maybe the best thing to say is it's been a very productive year. And Lawrence is in a better shape than we were at the end of 2023. And we've got so many good things on the horizon for 2025. I'm optimistic about where we're headed. So I appreciate the cooperation and help of all of y'all. When I say that I feel like we have a really good team, I include members of City Council. And so I thank you all for your support of the work that I do and the work that our staff does. And I look forward to working with you in 2025. So that takes us to the end of my remarks. We have nobody signed up for public comment. And the only thing we have on our agenda today is approval of the agenda for today, which includes no business, and approval of our minutes from our last meeting. Do I hear any motions concerning the consent agenda?
I request that you remove the minutes from the consent agenda.
All righty. If the consent agenda is contested, then the items will automatically be considered in turn. So we'll first consider the approval of today's agenda.
Make a motion, we
We have a motion. Is there a second? We have a motion from Counselor Lowry and a second from Counselor Lattimore. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor of approval of the council agenda for December 17th, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. And the agenda is approved. Next, we have approval of the minutes from our council meeting of November 19th. Do we have a motion?
Make a motion that we disperse minutes from, last council meeting.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand you. You're saying disperse the minutes?
I'm so sorry.
Ms. Sullivan, I'm not sure what you mean by that.
Oh, disperse just means, discuss on a later date.
Okay. We have a motion to
Disperse.
discuss the council meeting minutes at a later date. Are there any seconds? Hearing none, the motion fails. Are there any other motions considering?
Make a motion, we accept the minutes.
There's a motion to approve
Second.
and a second from Counselor Campbell. Is there any discussion?
I am confused. I know the motion is to accept this, but, and I guess I should have said something when I don't understand what, the reason. But I guess it'll pass now, we're doing this right here, but I'm terribly confused.
So just to clarify procedurally, Ms. Sullivan made a motion to consider or discuss the minutes from our last meeting at a later date, and that motion did not receive a second, and so it failed for lack of a second. And so the motion before council now is to approve the minutes from the 19th.
I just do with that, but I just don't understand the reason why you wanted to, but yeah, go ahead, talk.
Okay. If there is no further discussion of the motion to approve, please indicate by saying, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, no. And the minutes are approved by a vote of 6-1, with Sullivan, Councilor Sullivan voting against. All right. That is all the business before council. We have nothing further on the agenda, so would you like to? Well, if, I just want to keep us procedurally proper, so, I'm happy for you to address council after we adjourn, if that's okay.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion that this meeting adjourned, and we all leave and have a very Merry Christmas.
Second.
All right. We have a motion to adjourn and have a Merry Christmas and leave. Not necessarily in that order.
Second the motion.
A motion, and I think Ms. Kim will be the same. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, without objection, we are adjourned.
Now, what
Yes.
I want